Good evening and welcome into the River City, Whanganui and Cook's Gardens, and this was the scene 62 years ago for something very special. More on that in a moment. Conditions, well, fine and improving all the time, but a pretty stiff northerly, and it's tending towards the west, but it should die down. Here's hoping. Mark Rosanowski and Jason Cameron with you. Jason is the competitions manager for Athletics New Zealand. Pretty accomplished middle distance runner in his time as well, and Jason, you'd be familiar with running the mile here at Cook's Gardens. How would you assess the conditions tonight?
Well, it's pretty windy at the moment, but we can expect probably the wind traditionally in Whanganui drops just before 9 p.m, so should be hopefully perfect conditions for those elite miles for men and women.
Hence the timing of it. I understand that they put it there specifically for the wind to drop. 62 years ago, the late Sir Peter Snell, 354.4. Just staggering.
Yeah, and we're standing on some grass at the moment, and that's what he ran it on, and it's looking pretty short and clumpy around us at the moment, but yeah, just astonishing time ahead of his time, really, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's still the fourth fastest mile of all time here, and fifth is Sam Tanner, and Sam back to defend the title tonight. Clearly the favourite in your eyes?
Absolutely. He's not pacing tonight. He looked pretty sharp last weekend, and Hastings pacing James through that 600 metres and really put in some effort there, and I understand he's going to be going for the win tonight, so no pacing involved, although he's going to have the stablemate Julian Oakley there from Tauranga to keep him company, and Callum Davies from Australia, so it's it's a pretty good lineup.
It is useful, just given the conditions, unless it really drops away. Nick Willis's record probably safe tonight?
It's a pretty formidable record, remembering that Nick won the Commonwealth Games soon after winning that mile in 2006. Looking forward to the women's race tonight too, knowing that Becky Green, she sort of stamped her authority on the race last year and around 4:31, and then she'll resume that rivalry with Laura Nagel tonight, and it should be a fantastic race to watch as well.
And Laura was really sharp over the 800 metres last week at the Potts Classic. Number of athletes backing up, of course, from last week. It's not just all about the miles, although the other very special thing towards the end of this program, but some other outstanding athletes. Let's check out what you can expect over the next 2 3/4 hours here at Cook's Garden. And it's into the field event that will be going very soon to open up this session for the Cook's Classic for 2024 here at Cook's Gardens, where some early afternoon rain, just light, has cleared away to this rather pleasant scene we see right now, but still that wind gusting, and you may hear that through our microphone. The first of the evening events on the track being set up, and that'll be the 400 metre hurdles. That's at around 7:20, but we've got 3 field events about to get underway shortly, Jason Cameron, and certainly the men's and women's high jump should offer us a lot. Obviously Hamish Kerr, who's always a thrill to see at any stage, and the women's high jump tonight featuring Kelly O'Hagan and Imogen Skelton should also be a very good competition. We've got the men's long jump in action as well. Lewis Arthur, a personal best last week at the Potts, 7:48. Women's javelin, we've got an international field there. 2 good Japanese throwers and a French woman. Tori Peters not here tonight, New Zealand's champion and record holder, but she will be at the Capital Classic on Friday. Men's and women's shot put coming up. Can Nick Palmer get to 20 metres and become the 3rd New Zealand man to break that magical barrier? 400 metre hurdles are being set up for now. Women's 200, and we'll see Cheryl Collette head around there. She won the 100 metres earlier. The men's 100 features one of the fastest Australians, Jake Doran, the champion from 2022's Australia and Oceania Championships. Women's long jump provided a real highlight, a cliffhanger last week at the Potts. Hannah Sandilands came out on top. Can she again? We'll find out later in the program. Alongside the men's javelin, got an 82 metre thrower, French champion that was here last year and won, Felice Sasaya, and the mixed 3,000 metres at 8 o'clock. But further down on this Continental Tour program, we'll see men's and women's 400 metres. Portia Bing will be over the 400. She's listed to run in the 200 tonight as well. Then the men's B mile, the women's mile championship, and Jason's mentioned the clash that we can expect there, and indeed at 9:05 the men's mile championship. So Jason, it's one of those programs where anticipation will build through to the ultimate, the mile that we've come to see at the end of the night.
Oh, it's one of the most anticipated meets of the summer, the Pack and Save Cooks Classic, and Russell Sears and Alec McNabb do a sterling job putting it together. Avid volunteers of the sport, hundreds of hours go into putting this meet on, and is such a valuable addition to the World Challenger Series.
Indeed, and we're underway with one of our highlights in the field, and you saw shots there of Hamish Kerr and all the high jumpers, both the men's and women's, limbering up, and in fact first jump's about to take place very shortly. Hamish, winner of the Commonwealth Games gold medal, and I guess that takes him into the lounges of wider New Zealand, who tend to watch athletics every 2 years, Commonwealth Games, Olympic Games, but of course he's done so much more than that as well.
Yeah, well look, the last time I saw Hamish was actually in Christchurch at the New Zealand Road Relay Champs, and I'm not sure whether he had permission from his coach, but he's definitely an athlete of the people, and he was running a leg in the New Zealand Road Relay Champs. It was in his off season, but that was just classic for me to see him there, and he's always so jovial and friendly, and obviously very focused when he gets on the high jump runway. But yeah, it was awesome to see him in a different context in the distance running space.
Personal best listed there of 2 metres 31, but he has jumped higher, 2:34 indoors and 2:33 also in Switzerland.
Yeah, so he won that Diamond League meet a couple of weeks after the World Champs in Budapest, and by his own admissions he was well below his best there, and he went off to Croatia with his girlfriend and had a leisurely week or so just on the beaches there and relaxing, and came back with a vengeance to win that Diamond League meet. And really that was just a stellar victory, because he was beating the likes of Tambori and the other medalists from the high jump at the World Champs.
The women's, I'm looking forward to the contest. Keely O'Hagan, Imogen Skelton. Keely, of course, at the Commonwealth Games as well for New Zealand, finishing 6th with that personal best 189. She's got a season best of 182. And she was a winner down at the Lovelock Classic earlier in the month with 1 metre 80. Imogen Skelton, though, should be pushing her pretty close, jumping 182 last year, and did win at this meet last year over Keely.
Yeah, and another to look out for there is Mia DeJaga from Hamilton, one of our emerging athletes. She's a fantastic vertical jumper and a noted sprinter as well. I remember watching her at the New Zealand secondary schools in Inglewood a couple of years back, where she put 20-30 metres into the field in the space of 50 metres in one of those sprint finals. So she's definitely an outstanding talent for the future.
And at the men's long jump, which will be underway as well, we see Lewis Arthur. He might be down on the second page there, but I think he is a confirmed star as far as I'm aware. But he was outstanding last week with a personal best 7:48 at the Potts Classic. Max Atwill has got close to 7 metres so far this season, and his PB at 7 metres 31. Looking over the page, there's Lewis, number 10. I was starting to get nervous. Personal best listed as 7:37, but he improved on that last week by another 9 centimetres, so he's in really good shape.
Yeah, and Kieran Lomax there, the son of Terry Lomax, our high-performance coach there. So Dad's pulled him up to Whanganui for a little bit of competition. Good to see. And I saw Max Atwill there. You mentioned him, Mark, and he's one of our top combined eventers. probably aiming for the New Zealand Combined Events Champs in Dunedin, which will be in mid-February.
And a number of the decathletes, heptathletes doing as many events as they can in these very tight time frames that we have. Now, the women's javelin has mentioned a couple of Japanese competitors here. Yuka Sato down the bottom there with a 62 and 88. She's been national champion in Japan 2020. That PB there was set in 2019 in Fukuoka. Sei Takemoto, 62 and 39. She finished with a silver medal in the Asian Under-20 Games and 6th in the Asian Games Senior last year. Her personal best set in 2021. And the French competitor, Jonah Agui, who has been a 2 times national champion in there too. Tori Peters not here tonight, New Zealand's champion and record holder, but she will be competing against these women come Friday at the Capital Classic in Wellington.
Also saw Michaela Sola on the start list for that women's javelin, and we've just been reading a little bit of history this afternoon, haven't we, Mark, around her dad and some of his famous exploits in 2005 at the World Championships, where he tried to get there for his shot put and flight didn't arrive on time and ended up throwing a javelin for the first time in his life. It's quite an amazing story, isn't it?
It's a great story, and he's in the starting lineup himself tonight, Shaka, with that 18.12 as a personal best. Obviously, that's bygone era for him, but 11.98 with a season's best, and no one tells that story like Shaka tells that story. It's a joy to listen to. In this Nick Palmer, we will have our eyes on him because he looked really good last week in Hastings, and he thought he was so close to pulling out that 20-metre put, which would put him just the 3rd New Zealander of all time behind Tom Walsh and Jacko Gill to achieve that. And when you think back on some of the marvellous throwers we've had, Jason, that's pretty extraordinary. So Nick's heading there, and you know, he's just at a developing stage of a thrower's career.
Yeah, well, I guess he's had that, you know, that incentive to aspire to the level of Tom and Jacko, and I know he trains with those guys, especially Tom, when he can, down at Christchurch at the Throwers Centre there at Ngā So, yeah, it's great to have, you know, the world's best in your event in New Zealand, and gives you something to aim for. And you know, he's reaching the best form of his career, which is great to see as we head into, you know, the climax of the track and field season in March.
Yeah, Natalia Rankin-Chittar heading the 3 shot putters for the women. She put 15.57 at the Pots last week, and she's alongside Saskia Rind and Maddie Wilson in tonight's competition. And the field's being introduced to the crowd here at Cook's Gardens. Jason, look, I know you've run here a number of times, and you're talking about how unique a venue it is because of its location and, of course, the history to it.
Yeah, I can't think of too many venues in New Zealand that are, you know, in this heart of the CBD, the Central Business District in Whanganui, and it's always a place that the athletes love coming to. You know, you can stay in your motel or hotel and basically leave your room and be in the track in the environs within 2 or 3 minutes. Starting your warm-up, the Grand Hotel, which we've all stayed at before during our time. I remember having some sleepless nights there after the competition with the disco bar underneath. But yeah, lots happening in Whanganui, and yeah, it really is a fantastic venue. I can't think of too many places where the bell's chiming every hour, and probably similar feel in another part of Oceania would be Melbourne, where the track used to be at Olympic Park right in the city, but it really is a special place to compete for our athletes here in Whanganui at Cook's Gardens.
We've had action earlier in the day, and we'll catch up on a couple of those results as we go, but obviously launching into this evening's program, and decent number gathering over there behind the high jump pad. Good vantage point, and obviously Hamish and Keeley and a couple of others certainly attracting attention over there.
Just saw Max Atwell from High School Old Boys in Christchurch on the runway getting ready for his first jump in the men's long jump.
Still that gusty wind here, Jason. A couple of times it's threatened to die away, and hopefully it will for the mile, obviously. But at the moment, conditions to contend with it are just a little bit tricky.
But at least the rain's gone away, so we've got a good crowd in too. Probably at least 400 or 500 in the grandstand here now, and the grass embankment down there is filling up as well. So that's what we always like to see at our top athletics meets, is the general public coming in and supporting along with the families of the athletes. So it'll be a really nice night to be in Whanganui and watching athletics tonight.
Certainly, if you're in the area, then come on down and join us for what promises to be an outstanding night as we get underway in the field. As I say, in terms of the track, our first event in this evening's session at around 7:20 in the hurdles. Leon Roger there from Wairarapa into the long jump pit into the first round. Max Atwell, 660, first into the pit. And Leon Roger, unfortunately, a no jump there as Masaki Tamuka in the Christchurch Old Boys uniform gets ready. We head to the high jump. Tia Wynyard over there, former Kaipo High School student, as am I. So,
brother of Pai Wynyard, is he?
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Who's a up-and-coming middle distance runner in Canterbury.
That's a fair jump from Masaki. Let's see what it is.
Mirza Hussain on the runway. He was in the triple jump earlier and pushed Scott Thompson too, and Scott came through and won.
So the wind's swirling around here in the stadium quite a bit, but it's probably a tailwind that they've got on the long jump runway.
Masaki Tamuga was 685. Good first effort from him. And when that came up, it was a pretty popular result down there in front of us. Mia De Jager over at the high jump. Metre 80, her best with the New Zealand secondary schools team. Hussein into the pit. We'll bring you the action now from earlier in a couple of events that we can bring you, and this was the men's B final with Ethan Calder-Cass from Parapara Umu coming out in front. Now, because of the wind, they ran in the reverse direction that they normally would. It was 4.1 plus headwind here for Ethan, who clocked 22 and 57. Max Lua finishing second, and Leon Roger in third. And coming up that straight with a pretty powerful tailwind. And the A final, Cody Wilson, who's been in really good form so far this season, up against Zachary Saunders here. And Cody in the blue and white of Omana was able to kick out to a handy lead, plus 4.0 tailwind here. 21.20 was his time over Zach Saunders, and later on, Jason, will see Cody up against Jake Doran in the 100, and Zach Saunders is going to be, well, he's listed to start in the 400 later, so these two young men are going really well in the early season.
Jack Bryan on the runway, comes first and 10.
And we can confirm those results for you with the men's B final up first. And Ethan's time 22 and 57. Max Lua 23.80, 24.68 for Leon. And the A final, Cody Wilson with 21.20. Zach Saunders clocking in 21.60. Kaharangi Cottrell third, 22 and 39. Joshua Atagoki there, 22.50. And Luke Jarvis, the other starter in that. And as I say, we look forward to the 100 metres later on. Jake Doran from Australia up against Cody Wilson. And unfortunately, Ryan Nume scratching tonight after running really well last week in Hastings.
Cody McPhail into the long jump pit there.
And across to the javelin as well, so always interesting times, Jason. We've got the three field events going at once, and
the hustle and bustle of athletics,
and a few pages to hang on to in the breeze. But we'll keep you up to date as best we can, and tell you Cody McPhail there jumped to 5.83 in the long jump as we get back to the pit. And
this is the high jump now, 2.26. And that's Ben Walker representing the New Zealand secondary schools team in the high jump there. We're back to the long jump.
The New Zealand secondary school team chosen after the New Zealand Secondary Schools Championship last month in Christchurch.
Ben coming round, nice curvature in his run up there, and it's nice and vertical and straight up and over that bar. Fantastic first jump.
Lewis Arthur, after last week's 7.48 in Hastings, and we'll see if he can carry that form to Cook's Gardens here tonight.
Here he is. Bouncing along like a gazelle and into his run up, accelerating and powering off the board there into the pit. What will that be?
We shake of the head there, but he did garner some applause down there. White flags out, so it will be measured. Lewis, 2 silvers and a bronze in senior long jump competitions at the Nationals. He'll be looking forward to March. As we head to the javelin.
And that's Sei Takimoto from Japan with her first throw just inside the sector there. And about 55 metres or thereabouts for Sei Takimoto from Japan. First throw in the women's javelin. And here's Max Angaroa Hariturua from the Cook Islands on the long jump runway. Foul there. First jump.
Always important to try and get a measure early, just take the pressure off. Looking for the extra 3 jumps for the top 8. Jonah Agui, 2-time French national champion. Part of the international lineup we have in the javelin this evening.
A lot of these international athletes down under at the moment for summer, chasing competition points to boost their opportunities to qualify for their countries to the Paris Olympics in July this year. And it's great to see having those internationals back is awesome. Through the COVID times, we were relying on our domestic athletes to get out there and perform, and they're coming back in their numbers now. So looking forward to the Capital Classic next weekend, where some new athletes will be coming in as well.
Imogen Skelton clear at the high jump, and comfortably so.
Jonah Agui on the javelin runway. We hear the effort from right up in the grandstand here, and that's out to around 55, 56 metres or in that vicinity.
A personal best of 58.12 set last July at the French Championship. She's been a 2 times national champion, 24-year-old. And the way she bounced back down and off the runway, I'd expect she was pretty happy with that as a first up throw. Took a bronze at the European Under-23 Championships when she was eligible.
And here's Max Atwell, second jump in the men's long jump. Good acceleration off the runway, hits the board. What do we got? It's a legal jump.
Like a pretty good extension and follow through from Max.
He's a very versatile athlete out of the High School Old Boys Club in Christchurch.
Lewis Arthur 7:33 atop the standings. Masaki Temuka at 6:85, 6:60 for Max Atwell. And Mirza Hussain in his second competition of the night, currently sitting 4th with 6:14. Leon Roger looking for a measure after a no jump first up. Red flag again, unfortunately, puts the pressure on the third and final jump.
Okay.
Clean jumping across at the high jump so far, and some pretty solid javelin throwing as well. Keep you up to date with these three field events that are ongoing as the javelin heads out again. Don't think we've had a miss in either the men's or women's high jump as of yet.
Samasoni Hewitt from the New Zealand Secondary Schools team. Personal best there of 2 metres and 2.
He did that down at the New Zealand Secondary Schools Championship. It was a really keen contest, that, and he was a delighted winner. Masaki Temuka's latest jump there to be measured. Kayla Sola from Lower Hutt over there at the javelin. And another clear from Ben Walker at the high jump's been really clean over there so far.
Great new initiative from New Zealand Secondary Schools Athletics Association, picking these teams. These young athletes excelled in the national secondary schools last month, and their recognition, making that team and travelling around these classic meets, great developmental opportunity for the future. Musa Hussein from Egmont Athletics up for his second jump. Speeds down the runway, just mistimed his steps there. It'll be a foul.
Triple jump earlier, he placed second, 13 and 89. Put some pressure on Scott Thompson for a while, and Scott did come through in a 14 and 34.
So at the end of the second round of the javelin, Sai Takamoto is leading 53.82.
Sai Takamoto currently leading Yuko Sato, the two Japanese first and second. And Jane Ogui currently third, and really good experience obviously for the New Zealand throwers up against them.
And Yuko goes to third, so it's 52.03 is in second position. The leader is Sai Takamoto.
Clear high jump there for Jaden Williamson. Jumps to music during the week, and he was there, finished third with a metre 97. Ben Walker jumped during the week as well. Hara, metre 92, as did Hugo Jones.
That was Tia Wynyard from High School Old Boys there in the high jump. And 2-1-1. It's Jack Bryan from the Napier Athletic Club with a legal jump there.
He finished second last week to Lewis Arthur at the Pots. He was 6:58 there. His best 6:92 was actually set at the Potts Classic, going back 4 years now in 2020. Jack now 27 years old. Sai Takamoto with the javelin. About to sprint down the runway for a next release. The sun pretty warm at the moment, Jason, warmest it's been today.
It is, and that wind is starting to drop. I can see those flags. They're just not as wavy as they were half an hour ago, Mark. So that traditional Whanganui wind that drops about, I think Rob Dabb, our ground announcer, said 8:45 on the dot.
Yes.
Drops away. So I know the milers will be looking forward to those great conditions, blue sky above, and that northerly is dropping out.
Saw Samisoni Hewitt over 196 at his second attempt after missing the first, to be wrapped about that, winning the New Zealand Secondary Schools, as I mentioned last month, in a cracking contest. Hugo Jones was second and Ben Walker third.
Here we go. Tia Wynyard from Papanui Tokach in Christchurch, up and over, touches the bar with the back of his legs, but it's great clearance there for Tia.
2:01, Tia's best. That was in December in Christchurch. He was second. The Lovelock behind Hamish Kerr at Timaru with 2 metres. Jumped 187 at Hara during the week, the 18-year-old. I guess the interesting thing for us, Jason, will be when does Hamish come into the high jump? Obviously, he has a personal best well in advance of any of the others. And I remember at the Capital Classic, I think it was the year after, he had set the New Zealand record at 2 metres 31, where he came in, I think, around the mid-220s. Missed all 3.
Yep.
And obviously it's quite a tricky balance because he's probably got in mind how many jumps he wants to have tonight.
Yeah, so he got over 221 at Harwater at the Jumps to Music on Wednesday night, didn't he? So uses this little circuit of meets as a training developmental thing at this time of the year. It's just great to have him competing in our meets. A lot of the athletes obviously got the goal, the eye on the ultimate prize of the Olympics, but in a hot New Zealand summer, getting out there and competing, getting that practice and used to competing, albeit against domestic competition, but still great to get out there and do it.
Yeah, indeed, and it'll be his 3rd domestic appearance, Hamish, this year, with the Lovelock being his first down in Timaru, and he jumped 223 there. Added complications, probably not the right word, Jason, but this year in terms of our domestic season, the World Indoor Championship in March as well. Yep. So obviously, for example, our pole vaulters have gone offshore early.
Yep.
Zoe looking to head over there, Tom as well, Tom Walsh.
Yeah, so it's right at the end of first weekend of March in Scotland, I believe, and yeah, they'll be back for the National Track and Field Champs Newtown Stadium, 14th to the 17th of March, which carries very valuable points in the scheme of things for qualification for the Olympics.
Rita Jager at the high jump. She jumped at Hara during the week, metre 67 there. Of course, we've got the men's and women's going on at the same time.
Yep.
Officials working through the logistics of that, and always like to thank our officials who enable these meetings to go ahead. And in a pretty compressed sort of a time frame as well, particularly for this meeting.
Yeah, totally. The last time I was here, it's the Colgate Games, North Island, we had here at Cook's Gardens in 2023 with 1,100 children from around the North Island, South Island. It really is a fantastic venue for athletics, and we've had the national championships here previously as well.
Christchurch Old Boys competitor Kieran Sinclair Lomax on the long jump runway. So we take you back to the women's javelin and Michaela Sola with her latest effort. Oh, Homeo's very disappointed there because she looked as if she was over that and just flicked it with her heels when it looked like she was going to be clear. At 1.70 m. Sato, number 108. Her latest throw at the javelin. We'll
welcome back to your long jump coverage.
Look to find you a mark there for her. So far, Sai Tokamoto with 53.82 in the second round, 52.50 in the first, and a no throw in the third.
Just a shame for Mia there, just jumping into the bar with her shoulder.
And she's had to take those three pretty much in a row too, Jason, which obviously is
she looked
never
like
easy.
She may have injured herself there. Hopefully that's nothing too bad.
Certainly some disappointment. Leon Roger in the long jump pit. Here's Hamish. He's still got the hoodie on. The sunnies. Well, the sunnies are required now. I think they'll be needed for us soon, Jason. That sun coming down into us at the back of the stand here. It's becoming lovely conditions for those who've come along to the Cook's Classic.
And here we have Liam Nutchuck Wolf, and it's a good put. Speed through the circle there, and
he put a personal best 17.24 at this meeting last year when he finished third, Liam. He was second at the Potts Classic last week, 16.65 behind Nick Palmer, who posted that 19.76.
Yes. Nodding his head and having a good laugh there, so up to the bank to have a few words of advice with his coach, no doubt. And back to the men's high jump.
Liam Nutchuck Wolf with 16.44. That first put of the night should be a good starting point for him because it's only about 11 centimetres down on his best throw from last week.
Did that start with a 7?
Misaki Tamuka 7.04.
Now introduce you to the field for the Unity 400-metre hurdles. In lane 1, we have Noah Redfoot from New Zealand Secondary Schools. Lane 2, Nathan Brown, Hamilton City Hawks. Lane 3, James Henson of New Zealand Secondary Schools. Lane 5, New Zealand
Samasoni Hewitt on the jump up, but hits the bar there.
Lane 6, third, also from Whanganui. And out lane 7, Joseph Dunn from Secondary Schools.
It's a pretty sharp looking uniform, that New Zealand Secondary Schools uniform, isn't it, Mark?
Certainly is.
Yeah. Didn't have that back in Isle Day, did they?
No.
Yeah,
It's fair to say. There's the men's long jump current standings. The first of our track events is about to happen, and that is the 400-metre hurdles with Jonathan Staples, the man to watch here in lane number 5. 1:25. Local athlete with the best time of 54:05.
And 3 representatives for the New Zealand secondary schools team here. Redford in lane 1. Mackenzie Hansen in lane 4 and Dunn in lane 7.
So Joseph Dunn in the outside lane. 126 Nat Kirk from Athletics Whanganui. Jonathan Staples, also local there, number 125. 213 James Hansen. Nathan Brown in 3 and Noah Redford off the inside as they take their marks. Somebody on the move and told to stand up out of their blocks, and they take their marks again for the second time. 400 men's hurdles.
Fastest man in the field, Maples in lane 5 with a PB of 54:05.
Out of the blocks they go. Pretty conservative start from Jonathan Staples. Nat Kirk has gone out hard and quickly made up the stagger on Joseph Dunn. Maples stepping out now down the back. James Henson also making some good ground. They come off the top. It's Nat Kirk in front. Jonathan Staples looks to be within himself at the moment. James Henson lying third. They've come away from the others as they come to the corner, and Maples coming up underneath. A pair from
Slight Dunn and Kirk. So Dunn back for the New Zealand secondary schools. It's Maples and Hansen.
So Maples is going to come through, pulled through. It's awkward over the last, and Kirk will be second and Henson third. We'll get a time for you soon. Around 54.5 by the sounds. Jonathan Maples, accomplished 400-metre hurdler, but he didn't have it his own way there, Jason. In fact, Nat Kirk, his fellow Athletics Whanganui competitor, certainly took it to him, and might come away with a PB.
Just fantastic to see near a full field in that men's 400-metre hurdles. I remember a couple of years back, Cameron French, one of our best ever 400-metre hurdle exponents, running races on his own or with one other in the field. So good to see some depth there in the men's 400-metre hurdling.
Certainly. Jonathan's been the New Zealand champion the last 2 times. Last year in Wellington, he picked up that 54.05, winning the national championship. He ran a pretty good 400 on the flat last week. PB 400 in Hastings, 54.87 his time here.
Very close to his PB.
Looked like a relatively conservative run early, but perhaps it wasn't. Certainly coming to the last hurdle, just a little stagger, and we know the lactic acid kicking in there. 400 metres is hard enough, Jason, let alone
still a bit of wind out there as well.
Indeed.
Yeah.
2 metres 02 cleared there at the high jump.
It's Jaden Williamson from the North Harbour Bays Athletics Club. Got a PB of 2:11.
Did that at the National Secondary Schools back in 2020. So 3 field events currently underway, and we've had the first of our track events.
Yuka Sato on the runway in the javelin. Competitor from Japan, basing herself in Australia and New Zealand over the summer.
Two similar throws so far for Sato. 51-28, 51 and 22. To improve on that in round number 3. Another 400-metre hurdle coming up shortly on the track. The women this time. Back there soon as we watch this javelin.
That's out around the 55-metre mark there for Yuka Sato from Japan.
Lewis Arthur just pulling out a 7:48 in his third jump there at the long jump pit, which equals what he did last week as personal best at the Potts Classic. Sai Takamoto in front there, 53 and 82, and what's a pretty hotly contested javelin event amongst the international women. Shot put going alongside the javelin. And long jump here, Kieran Sinclair Lomax next up. Best so far of 5:98. And we'll get a measure here to see if he can break through the 6-metre barrier tonight.
Nathaniel Sulopo out of the Solar Power Throwing Academy, should I say, in Lower Hutt. Personal best of 18.12 metres.
Sai Takamoto with her latest at the javelin.
The jumpers, the top jumpers will jump last, and we will take 8 jumpers to the final.
Throwing all around the sort of low 50s tonight, it would seem. See the breeze blowing in their face there.
I saw Blessing Sefo there from the Waitakere Athletics Club in Auckland, getting ready for his next throw. There's Max Atwell. Is that a busy night already? The long jump. Here he is in the men's shot put.
400-metre hurdles. Looks like we're down to a field of 4 here. Nadia Chiara, the athlete over from the United States, currently running out of Hamilton, and Sophie Hancock, the New Zealand Secondary Schools runner. A couple of withdrawals from the initial. Grace Wisniewski and Paige Cromartie not out there at the starting blocks, so we'll have Sophie Hancock on the outside of Nadia Chiara. Second of our track events this evening.
And we'd normally see Portia Bing. This is her specialist event, the 400 metres hurdles, but she's running over 400 metres tonight, Mark.
She is, and she's listed down for the 200 as well, so hopefully we'll see her twice. As we await the beginning, we head back to the shot put. Sophie Hancock's 17 years old. She won the 300 metre hurdles at the New Zealand Secondary Schools Championship, over the 400 tonight, of course.
You've still got it, Shaka. Great to see Shaka Sola with his home country colours on, Samoa. And great, has many of his athletes competing in the same field tonight. As we see Blessing Sefor releases the shot, and that's a big one, out over 16 metres.
Tia Wynyard, the latest at the high jump.
Yeah, I just left them in the bottom. Yeah, yeah.
Yuka Sato preparing for her next throw on the javelin runway is the two runners to take the blocks for the 400 metre hurdles. Nadia Chiara was at the Potts Classic last week, running on the flat. Sophie Hancock on the outside of this pair from the New Zealand, running in the New Zealand Secondary Schools singlet, and she's made a strong beginning into the first hurdle.
Good cadence and technique over those hurdles, speeding down the back straight. It's pretty close though at the moment.
Nadia seems to be holding that stagger reasonably well. Both clearing comfortably. Sophie about to turn into the front straight. Nadia to pick up some ground on the stagger here. Sophie travelling pretty well though, and maintaining her concentration. She comes down to the last flight, slows up as you'd expect at this stage of the journey, but she's looking to be over it safely and is home from Nadia Chiara, who was chasing gamely.
Definitely one of the Iron Woman events of the track program, Mark. You really have to have a lot of guts and determination and be able to handle a high tolerance for the pain barrier there.
Yeah, that's not me. Very familiar with the 400 and the lactic acid build-up and facing up after 300 metres, the long straight that seems to get longer, but hurdles as well. That's just something extra. Jumping those last couple of flights with quads full of lactic acid is not an easy task.
Those world records are pretty impressive these days for the both the men's 400 and women's 400 hurdles.
Could our wind gauge operator please go for the 200 metres?
Am I right to say as fast or slightly faster than our 400 metre flat records?
Yes, correct. And confirmation, Sophie there, time of 1:02.72, and Nadia over the hurdles 1:05.01. And now the 200 metres upcoming. For the woman, Ben Walker out of the high jump at 2:02, 1:96 is successful clearance.
It's Yuka Sato with another throw in the women's javelin. Just mimicking her style there, trying to get the very best technique she can. Great to see the versatility of this Cooks Gardens venue here. So we're running the 200 metres with a favourable wind tonight.
Which means that they'll be starting down in front of us, what would normally be the start-finish line, and head round and finish across the other side of the stadium to where we're currently seated. So we stay with the high jump. And Hugo Jones has cleared 2 metres 2 in his first time over 2 metres. 1:99 at the New Zealand secondary schools last month, and further improvement tonight. Congratulations.
And you can see why there. He had a fantastic curved run in there, and straight up and good distance between himself and the bar, and up and over.
So starting at the M14, James Conwell from Palmerston North as the winner.
So Wynyard be up next.
And Nathan McKinley third. That was in the M35 grade on Nathan McKinley. Lucy Oliver is going to congratulate our winners. Is Heather Lynn Walker here? Sally Gibbs.
Jaden Williamson, Hugo Jones over the 2:02.
These are the updated start lists.
Just looking at some updated start lists for a variety of upcoming track events. There have been a few scratchings and changes. That's the 400 metres there. We've got a 200 metres coming very shortly, starting with the Group B. It's a field of 5. As we look at the statue of Sir Peter Snell, who 62 years ago this very day ran 3:54.4 world record at Cooks Gardens on a track very different to the one we have today. So down at the 200 metre blocks, Verta Kristrup in lane number 2 out of the Levin Athletic Club. Lily Bing from Waitakere, number 296 in lane 3. Juliet McKinley, who's been busy today, Palmerston North in lane 4. Zara Rattray, New Zealand Secondary Schools in lane number 5. And number 269, young Daisy Goodman from Paraparaumu on the outside. Rosie Elliott set a new New Zealand record over the 200 metres, running the reverse way round down there at Napunawai. And we saw Rosie last week. He had a decent crack at the 400 last year. Found it pretty tough. I think she's looking back to the 200 this year for her concentration.
Yeah, I remember she was pushed really hard in that ITM Continental Tour meet by Georgia Hulls last year. They just brought out the best in each other, and that New Zealand record was one of the highlights of the meet. Looking forward to that one. ITM next month in Christchurch.
Just we delay on the track while all of the hurdles have been collected. Gives us an opportunity to head back to the shot put circle.
Okay.
Just understand that Kelly O'Hagan has retired from the high jump. Just a little Achilles niggle there, so we wish Kelly well. Obviously, she was one of the key competitors tonight, but just looking after herself at this stage of the season as we check out this field for the women's B final over the 200 metres. Zara Rattray in the New Zealand Secondary Schools top has the fastest personal best coming into this. She's also pretty handy in the triple jump. She picked up a bronze as a junior triple jumper at the Nationals and third in the New Zealand Secondary Schools triple jump. But pretty capable over the 200 metres here. Probably the one to watch in this B final. The A final should feature Shael Collette, who was dominant in the 100 metres earlier today. Portia Bing, who was first over the 400 metres at the Pots, and of course our national record holder 400 metre hurdles, but running the flat at the moment. And Brooke Summerfield listed to be there as well. So the other athletes in the stadium have to be mindful of the fact that the 200 metres is running the reverse way round.
And we're into the fourth round of the long jump, and the athletes are just getting their rhythm back from what I can see so far.
As they await to be called forward to the blocks. Called forward to their marks. Daisy Goodman closest to us, Zara Rattray, Juliet McKinley in the white, Lily Bing and Verta Kester up the inside, which is lane 2. And underway in the women's B final 200 metres, Zara Rattray has made a strong beginning. Juliet McKinley coming through strongly as well. Lily Bing coming underneath Daisy Goodman as they come into the front straight. Zara Rattray comfortably clear. Juliet McKinley trying hard in behind, and Daisy Goodman on the outside's going to hold down third, but Zara Rattray will be in for a comfortable win from Juliet McKinley. And a good finish, Daisy Goodman on the outside ahead of Lily Bing and Verta Kester.
Let's give it up for Misaki.
Clapping in the background you can hear is for Masaki Tamuka on the long jump runway as the young women congratulate themselves after the 200, but red flag sadly there. So just at the men's high jump, Hamish Kerr had a bit of a loosener over 202. Jaden Williamson over the 202 as well. Hugo Jones for the first time ever, and that was at his third attempt. They're the three live in the men's high jump at the moment. And then just across at the women's high jump, confirmation that Kelly O'Hagan has withdrawn from the competition. We saw Mia Dejaga miss at 170. 2 misses for Naomi White, 175. Imogen Skelton also 2 misses, 175. And Amber Trow also yet to clear that as we head to the women's A final, 200 metres. And Shael Collette, 233 in the secondary schools colours. The one to watch here alongside her, Kendra Skelly-Tui. Sasha Kilmister off lane 2. Neve Geddy, lane 3. Ponsa Tabiam Ponsa, lane 4. Kendra Skelly-Tui, 5. Shael Collette, 6. Portia Bing in lane number 7. And Maddie Wilson in lane 8. Field of 7. Shael ran 11.75 the 100 metres earlier with a strong wind behind her. I think it was 3.7 from memory. Portia Bing's been pretty sharp on the flat so far this season and looking to build on what she's done. She's listed to run in the 400 later in the program as well. Shael was 4th in the 100 metres behind Zoe Hobbs, the Potts Classic last week. 200 metre youth champion, under 18, under 19 records. As we see 175 cleared at the high jump by Naomi Waite. Taking their marks in the women's 200A final. And they're underway. Shael Collette and Kendra Skelly-Tui out nicely in the middle, but Portia Bing strong early, and we know she's strong home too, and she runs that curve really well. Leads Shael Collette, Kendra Skelly-Tui, Portia Bing holding. Shael coming at her late in the piece. Portia Bing looking to hold, and I thought did. Jason, from here?
I think she may have held on, but Shael Collette was coming fast there at the end.
Kendra Skelly-Tui 3rd. Portia Bing went out hard from the blocks, and she invited them to gun her down, see if they were good enough. But Portia, she's been really sharp from the Lovelock Classic on the flat. Shael Collette has closed off very quickly there.
And what a run from Kendra Skelly-Tui there. Remember her cleaning up the junior sprints down at Christchurch at the New Zealand Secondary Schools last month.
We'll await the official result there to confirm whether Portia hung on from Shael, but a classic contest. Portia, age 30. Shael, 18. And another clearance at 175 with Imogen Skelton. So Naomi Waite and Imogen Skelton both over 175 at their 3rd attempt, and Amber Trow has one more attempt left. So a miss there from Amber to exit the high jump at 175, the women's, leaving Imogen and Naomi to battle. And they'll head up to 1 metre 80. I had Naomi Waite down as a personal best at 174, Jason, so she may have topped that tonight with the 175, so she'll be delighted. She stepped to 1 metre 80. She jumped 172 at Hara during the week, so she's holding some pretty good form at the moment. And Imogen, of course, we've seen up as high as 186 second at the Nationals in 2022 behind Kelly O'Hagan, who's withdrawn tonight with that slight Achilles issue, which we hope won't keep her out for long. Back of the long jump after 4 rounds. Lewis Arthur 7:48, his best in round 3. Masaki Tomuka through that 7-metre barrier with 7:04 in round 3 as well. Max Atwell sitting third at the moment, 6:87. 24.12 for Portia Bing. 24.13. They could be separated by 1/100th of a second. Shale Khaled second.
And here we have Hugo Newton-Jones. He's already set a PB tonight, isn't he? 2:02.
Yes, 2:02, and his confirmation of that women's 200-metre final. Terrific contest with Portia Bing out to a big lead. Shale closing her down. And Kendra Scully Tui third at 24:50. Maddie Wilson home fourth ahead of Neve Getty, Sasha Kilmister and Mponsa Tabi Mponsa. Jaden Williamson at the high jump. So we look to the men's 100C final. Travis Baylor lane 2, Matthew Roger 4, Leon Roger 5, and Atlas Horo in lane number 6. They're at the opposite side of the track for us, so not quite the viewing we would normally have. .290 is Matthew Roger with a personal best at 11:19, although not close to that this year. Hugo breaking new ground for himself over there at the high jump. Coming to the blocks, the C final, men's 100 metres. Atlas Horo in the yellow of Egmont. As we get underway, and Matthew Roger, 290, being taken on the inside by 127 Travis Baylor. Atlas Horo out wide, not a lot between the pair. Matthew Roger between them. Leon Roger and Joshua Taylor, the T20 athlete, also competing. Looks like Travis Baylor accepting the congratulations. He was in lane number 2. Atlas Horo out wide. Best dip.
Got it on the line.
Be a local victory. Travis Baylor there for Athletics Whanganui. .207 for Jaden, for Hugo Jones and Jaden Williamson. They both had 2 misses at 2:07 thus far. But a clearance there.
He's stoked. Awesome jump.
Hugo Jones is shattering his PB again And he's improved by 8 centimetres on what he came in with. 199 last month at the New Zealand secondary schools. Cleared 202 through the 2 metre barrier for the first time, and that's a huge leap, and he deserves to be delighted with that. Dare we say, Jason, he's putting the pressure on Hamish, who's just had one shakedown at 202.
The pressure is on.
Travis Baylor 11.36, narrowly over Atlas Horro. Matthew Roger third, Leon Roger in that men's 100 metres C. And we have the B final coming soon. Ethan Calder-Cass is listed among the starters there. He won the 200 earlier. And then we look forward to the A final featuring Jake Doran, the 2022 Australian 100 metre champion and Oceania champion of that year. Won the 200 metres last year. Mirza Hussain down the long jump pit. Just looking across to the javelin there. Jason, I think they might have just pulled pin after 3 throws. And so we'll confirm that result soon. Here's the field for the B final. Max Lua in lane 2. Zach Ziogas lane 3. Ethan Calder-Cass lane 4. Luke Jarvis 5. Finn O'Sullivan 6. And Kieran Sinclair Lomax in 7. Ethan Calder-Cass comfortably with the best PB of 11.06 this season, 11.35. But Finn O'Sullivan has run 11.32. There has been a false start.
Jack Bryan, Xavier for his last jump.
So Ethan Calder-Cass is number 265, just sitting on the block at the moment while they await to be recalled. And we head back to the women's high jump.
Good jump from Jack. See what the tape says.
Bar down for Naomi Waite, who's battling with Imogen Skelton. So I think we had a disqualification there of Max Lua. So he won't be in lane 2. Zach Ziogas lane 3. Ethan Calder-Cass 4. Luke Jarvis 5. Can't see Finn O'Sullivan there. Kieran Sinclair Lomax, the outside, down to 4. So get underway. Zach Ziogas the inside. Ethan Calder-Cass coming through the middle strongly. And we'll take it nicely from Luke Jarvis. Kieran Sinclair Lomax and Zach Ziogas battling out 3rd and 4th. No second chances in the sprints these days with the disqualifications, Jason.
Yep, we've seen it all happen before, haven't we, at the major championships, and yeah, it's can be all over before it's begun. And Max, an up-and-coming athlete, fresh out of the Colgate Games. First year at high school last year, so he'll use that as a learning experience for the future.
A tiny 7.40. Finish up the night for Lewis. Let's give Lewis a big round of applause. That's a very nice jumping.
So 180 proving tough there at the women's high jump. Just at the javelin, Sei Takamoto from Japan, best through 3 throws of 53.82. Jenna Agui from France, 52.03 with her first throw, which has been her best, and Yuka Sato, 51 28. So the 100 metres upcoming, and the men's A final. Been looking forward to seeing Jake Duran, very quick Australian. He has run 10:05 wind assisted, but 10:15 in Finland in 2018, which was an Australian junior record at the time.
Yeah, and what I'm really interested to see here is how Cody Wilson from Mana, who's been in spectacular form in recent weeks, and having Jake there in this race, what can that push him to do in terms of possibly a best 100 metres?
Imogen Skelton at the high jump.
Oh, lovely jump there.
So Jake Duran's in lane 4, Cody Wilson inside him lane 3, Ben Lambert in lane 5, Joshua Adigoki out in 6, Ryan Schotter in 7, Lucas Lambert in 8, and can't forget Jacob Stockwell off lane number 2. Cody's PB 10:62, 10:52 I should say. He was in the 10:60s last week at the Pots, 10:64. And they're coming to the blocks. The 100 metres, far side of the track to us, field of 5. Jake Duran right in the middle, number 104. Cody Wilson, 203, expected to run well against him, and Ben Lambert's number 264. And they're underway. Jake Duran coming through the middle strongly here. Cody Wilson winding up here late. Jake Duran with a good beginning. Cody trying to close him off, but second for him. Ben Lambert, I think, home in third. Time will be interesting. Wind not particularly strong for that. Jason seemed to drop away prior to that.
Could be illegal.
I thought it was a fraction hesitant out of the blocks, Jake Duran, but he was very quickly in front, and Cody Wilson looking to close off over the concluding stages. Jake, Townsville born. We'll see what he's been able to clock tonight here at Cook's Gardens. Great to have him here. He was over for the Graham Douglas meeting last year. In the B event, Ethan Calder-Cass dipping under 11 seconds, 10:96 over Luke Jarvis and Kieran Sinclair Lomax. And we should have Jake and Cody's time for you pretty soon. You might, here's Jake's time, 10.40. That is a meeting record. Cody Wilson with a season's best, 10:63, 100th of a second faster than last week. Lambert third, 11:07, shot of fourth, 11:16, and Stockwell, 11:33. No mean feat to get a meet record at the Cook's Classic.
Bit of an incentive there. These athletes competing for a prize pool tonight across the 3 central World Challenger meets, being the Potts Classic and Cook's and Capital next weekend.
Pretty famous name that held it too.
Well, that erases a very famous name.
So Gus and Ketia, 10:49 back in 2000, erased from the meeting record books by Jake Doran.
Yeah, really impressive run, and Russell did call me about 3 weeks ago and said that Jake was looking to get as many races as he could this season, and there were fewer opportunities over 100 metres this summer in Australia, so could we put on 100 metres at Cooks in Whanganui? And that was a great decision by the looks of things.
Excellent, and I believe he will be running in the Capital Classic on Friday, 6 days' time. Now, a mixed 3,000 metre dash for cash here, Jason. I don't know if you've ever been involved in any races like this where there are some cash incentives for leaders at certain stages of the race. Have you experienced such a thing?
I haven't seen it done on the track before, but yeah, definitely on the road and in cross country with primes. It'll be very interesting running here. Looks like we've got a mixed field here.
And we'll pick up the leading contenders as they make their way. But looking, Rebet there in number 284, you'd expect him to be prominent here.
Yeah. Recently announced in the New Zealand team for the World Cross Country Champs in Serbia the end of March.
And Jason, I believe you're part of the team,
yeah,
the leadership team taking them over?
Really excited about that, and in particular the under 20 men and under 20 women, where we'll be fielding full teams, and good number of senior women, and William Little from the Whippets Project representing the New Zealand men.
So an opportunity here for Lorcan to earn a bit of money while trying to win as well.
Yeah. I was trying to pick up the cash amounts for each distance mark, and we'll try and get a bit of info on that. But
Desmond Reddy just in behind Lorcan early on, and then Logan Hoffler from Olympic. Now, a few of these coming out of the under 20 mile championship last week, Jason, and the conditions were perfect. And Daniel Prescott set up a quick time. He finished fourth eventually. James McClay coming through from Southland to win, and just a whole host of personal bests there. The winning time 4:07 and change, and a few of those runners into the 3,000 tonight.
Yeah, some excellent racing down at the Potts Classic there, and I think there's a 56-second last lap from Elliot Pugh, which got him up from about 10th to the silver medal position in that under 20 men's mile, and some great racing in the under 20 women's as well, with Charo Heinen winning her first New Zealand title over Poppy Martin from Rotorua. And
we'll get to see Charo tonight in the senior mile, which is terrific. But Lorcan, Rebet taking them down the front straight here. Desmond Reddy running just off him, and Logan Hoffler currently lying third. Fourth spot there is Hayden Zervos. Then number 157, who is Bede Colburn.
Yeah, so the focus here is obviously winning cash along the way. So perhaps it's going to be quite a tactical race tonight. Not going for times here, and we see a sprinkling of young athletes there, and it's like one older runner there in the back of the pack there.
You might have noticed during that shot a javelin landing in the infield. Some warm-ups going on for the men's javelin field. It does feature the New Zealand champion Do Botes, young javelin thrower on the up. And he's got some good French competition tonight. The winner from last year returning for tonight.
And they're running at 9-minute pace in this 3,000 metres, so it's definitely not sluggish.
And I think there was a cash incentive for the leader at the first K, so Lorcan's taken that pretty comfortably. I think he might have his eye on the lot.
Victoria University student, probably needs a few extra dollars for those textbooks this year. They're looking really relaxed as Lorcan, coached by Richard Potts, former multiple New Zealand champion over many distances, New Zealand Secondary School's 1,500 metre record holder and the organiser of the Potts Classic.
Successful 25th running last weekend in memory of his late parents, Alan and Sylvia. So we have a look at some of the other contestants. Jarvis Shaw there, Palmerston. And so Jack McNeil from Egmont, and we also saw Jacqueline Koleski. She ran 5th in the under-20 mile, and personal best 5:06.34 last weekend. Lorcan was 6th in that under-20 mile classic finish, 4:18.47 his time. He's 18 years old at the moment, but he's got a birthday just around the corner. Got to be a temptation from these guys on his shoulder just to put in a wee burn and try and get that next cash prize.
Yeah, Rabat looking very relaxed. You can see that nice arm swing there. It's just moving very well through the mile. Just over, probably about 4:45 there. So it's sped up a bit and looking like potentially running under 9 minutes for this 3,000 metres, and he's still in front. I
can tell you just over at the high jump, Imogen Skelton's gone to 184 in the women's, so she's starting to get into some rarefied air. I think 186 her best. As we see her here,
1800.
And brings the bar down, but she's done well coming through the 175 at the third attempt. She was able to clear 1:80, and that's going to be good enough for a winning jump. So Imogen Skelton, 3 misses, 184, but her second attempt successful over 1:80, where Naomi Waite went out. Naomi second with her third round clearance of 175, and Amber Trower at 1:70. Mia de Jager at 165, and unfortunately Kelly O'Hagan pulled out with a little bit of concern around an Achilles tonight. Imogen Skelton, our winner.
So Lorcan's established a nice little gap now in this dash for cash 3,000 metres. He's out by about 25 metres now. Running real strong.
And at this stage, he'll be collecting all of the cash incentives and the win. Logan Hoffler, Desmond Reddy, about 30 metres off the back of him.
Desmond Reddy, a well-performed young athlete from Wellington, from the Olympic Harrier Club, goes to Rongotai Boys College, is featured in the New Zealand Secondary Schools cross-country champs, winning the Year 9 boys a couple of years ago in Nelson. Lorcan just having a wee look over his shoulder there to see where the challenges are coming from, but his wallet's looking pretty full at the moment, Mark.
Yes.
It's going to be his shout at the Grand tonight, I think.
Yes, we'll be queuing up looking for Lorcan. Doing it comfortably as well.
Coming up to the bell now. Looking like he's going to run comfortably under 9 minutes. Still a bit of wind around. Desmond Reddy in second place. Lorcan looked like he's just picked up his cadence now with 300 metres to go.
Reddy, Hoffler and Colburn giving chase.
Yeah, I love these initiatives in track and field, and we need more of them. The dash for cash. I've seen a devil take the hindmost in a 3,000 metres before, where one person drops off after each lap. That's a pretty entertaining race to watch as well.
I can imagine.
And here's Hamish Kerr geeing up the crowd in his Puma kit. There's the business end of the men's high jump. Lorcan Rabites coming in to win the dash for cash. He'll claim all the primes. And a great run there. A touch over 8:46. Desmond Reddy will hold on for second, and Logan Hoffler third.
B. Colburn just not too far behind there in fourth spot. Ended up being pretty good conditions for that race with the wind dropping away. Looking at the watch here, 10 past 8. The mile, of course, 5 past 9. The key mile, a couple of miles prior to that. Just confirming Imogen Skelton with a season's best 180, taking out the high jump over Naomi Waite, Amber Trow and Mia De Jager with Kelly O'Hagan pulling out. And we saw Hamish Kerr over 2:15, I think it was. So this is a replay of Hamish's jump, and
oh, lovely.
Very comfortable. I think the bar there, 2:15 for him. We mentioned earlier his 2 previous domestic appearances this year, 2:23 at the Lovelock in Timaru early in January, and then during the week, the jumps for music at Howrah, 2:21 meters.
And finally, from Christchurch Old Boys, Maddie Wilson. Maddie might be away doing something else right now, so she'll be here soon. Okay, great ladies, thank you very much.
Jacqueline Kowaleski, I think, finishing the 3,000 metres there to generous applause. And she was the first woman home. And Vivi Hale in the Egmont singlet, home second behind Jacqueline.
And fantastic to see some of our young women having a go in a mixed race from the Egmont Athletics Club in Taranaki.
So it'll be interesting to see where Hamish goes now with this high jump bar. Being by himself in the competition. Hugo Jones, 2:07. He put 8 centimetres on his personal best tonight in finishing second before bowing out at 2:11. That previous jump from Hamish was 2:15, and we'll see where he puts the bar now, maybe 2:19.
Of course, Hamish is with his new coach now, James Sandilands from Christchurch. So they've been working together for about 6-9 months now. Terry Lomax handing over the reins there, so great to see James here as well, supporting Hamish.
2 minutes 19, 2 metres 19, over comfortably first time, and the bar will go up another 4 centimetres to 2:23. Should be up with what he did down in Timaru. And Jason, we do see obviously successful athletes changing coaches, and sometimes probably a mutual feeling that perhaps they've taken each other as far as they can go. Is that your experience? Or?
Yeah, well, I think Terry, you know, he's been around the sport for so long now, and I think probably got an eye on retirement at some stage. Don't want to speak too early. My colleague from Athletics New Zealand, but he's been instrumental in getting Hamish started in his career, and think, yeah, that there comes a time where an athlete, needs some new direction, and he's, on track for Paris in July this year.
Separated the top 10 athletes in the handicap, so we're hoping for the same tonight. The elite athletes are part of it, but they're also competing for the leading points for the whole meeting, so they can...
Going to be heading down to Tony Rogers in a moment or two down at the podium. We've got 400 metres coming up soon, a number of those, but I can see Jake Duran sitting on the dais, and we'll have Tony with Jake just as soon as we can. Emily Fairclough in shot there with Zara Ford. So we'll take you to Tony in just a moment or two. Poppy Healy in lane number 1, 3:08. Zara Ford, 2:79, lane 2. Emily Fairclough, New Zealand Secondary Schools, lane 3. Portia Bing going round after her 200-metre success earlier. Cameron Smart, who was third behind Portia last week. Josephine Tappenden, lane 6. Chantel McDonald in 7. And Tilly O'Sullivan, lane 8 in fact, is now scratched. So Portia Bing, one to watch obviously, in lane 4, 2:97, 52.78 her personal best, and of course the New Zealand record holder over the 400-metre hurdles. We saw her over the 200 earlier, just shade Shael Collette in a desperate finish after Portia went out hard early, the 200 metres.
Yeah, an eye on lane 5 as well, Cameron Smart.
Yeah, Cameron looked pretty good last week and wasn't far off Portia in the Potts Classic. And we're off. Much quieter start in the 400-metre here from Portia Bing. Cameron Smart has come out strongly and quickly made up the stagger on the outside, and inviting Portia to come after her now, which she is, easing through to second. Emily Fairclough running well too, closer in lane number 3. So it's Cameron Smart leading, but you see Portia Bing making up the ground very quickly on the stagger here after a quiet start. She's eaten up the ground and taken up the lead. Cameron Smart looking for a response, and Emily Fairclough running really well in lane 3.
Portia Bing showing that grit and determination that she always has. And pretty smart time there.
Cameron Smart second, Emily Fairclough third, but yeah, the time will be interesting here. Portia's looked in really good shape so far this season. Her personal best time of 52.78 is the 7th best of all time over the 400 metres. Hamish Kerr
great
at the high jump, 2:23, and he's taken that down as first miss of the night. Sorry, Jason.
Oh, great third from Emily Fairclough there from the New Zealand Secondary Schools team.
Be good to see what she clocks here. It's been a terrific run from her. Just confirming the women's javelin with the Japanese competitors first and third. Sei Takamoto taking the win, 54.47. And the French woman, Jonah Agui, 52.03 second. Yuka Sato third, 51.87. And Mia Bartlett, the first of the Kiwis home, 33.60. And we look forward to Tori Peters, the national record holder, coming up against the international opponents this coming Friday, the Capital Classic. Portia. After her second success of the night, 200-400 double. The 53 and 73 time for her. Cameron Smart 55.67 and Emily Faircliff 55.80. Not too far outside her PB, 55 and 14. She was the winner of the New Zealand Secondary Schools in a 56.71, so she's well under that tonight. Poppy Healy finishing fourth ahead of Chantel McDonald.
Season best there for Poppy Healy. She ran a solid 800 metres at Potts last weekend as well.
Now we'll be crossing down to Tony Rogers when we can with Jake Doran, the winner of the 100 metres earlier, in a meeting record 10:40, and eclipsing the meet record of Gus Nketiah from 24 years ago.
Trying to think if Eddie ever ran at the Cooks Classic.
Good question. I certainly saw him at the Capital a couple of times, but yes, that's how old the record is, that, that a son has come through and exceeded those times elsewhere. Now we've got the men's A 400 metres coming soon, and meanwhile Hamish eyeing up another attempt, a second attempt at 2:23. Zach Saunders, who was second in the 200 earlier, lining up here in lane number 3. And just checking, we've got Thomas Cowan out there and James Ford. Both very accomplished 800 metre runners, Jason, as you'd be well aware. And
yeah, they've had some epic battles in the last month. New Zealand Secondary Schools, where James won the senior boys title last month, and then a week later Thomas turned the tables in a very close 800 metres, and both dipped under 150 for the first time at the Night of Fives.
And I believe that qualified them for the World Under-20s.
It did.
And they were very close last week behind James Preston as well, with Cowan just over Ford. As we have a look at them here, and Thomas Cowan lane 5, 2:30, James Ford 2:77 in lane number 6, and Ford going out strong and taking up the front here. Thomas Cowan coming through. Zach Saunders looking to make up some ground on the stagger here, and is doing so as well. James Ford turning first, Thomas Cowan underneath, and Zach Saunders now flattening out closer in. He's strong though, Ford.
Yeah.
And very good 400 exponent as well as the 800, and he's home. Zachary Saunders through for second, and Thomas Cowan third, ahead of Aidan Porritt.
Yeah, what a talent James Ford is, coached by Perry Cunningham out of Auckland. Finished his high school year last year at high school last year, King's College, going an American track and field scholarship in 2024, and he'll be attending those World Junior Champs as well.
James Ford, 18 years old, and 47.94 his best. We'll see what he's been able to come up with tonight, but a really strong run from the front from James. And Zach, another second for him tonight, Zachary Saunders, after chasing Cody Wilson home in the 200. I think we had the biggest James Ford's time coming through here. 48.09. 48.76 Zach Saunders, and Tom Cowan 48.82. Good running over the one lap, and Jason, I believe the biggest number of nominations for anything tonight, the 400 metres, so there's been a few changes to the fields here, so shuffling a few papers as we go.
Indeed, and we have, missing a couple of the form runners as well.
And we've got the men's B coming up.
Lane 6, Travis Taylor of Whanganui.
Joe Berman.
7, Masaki Tomoka
A
from
PB for Thomas Cowan there, 48.82. The son of Nick Cowan, and I believe George McConaughey, Thomas's coach, is in the crowd tonight. Saw him earlier on, so be great for him to see a PB from his young charge.
Hamish Kerr, last attempt 2:23. And clear. And happy.
He just always looks so relaxed.
He does.
Just nothing phases him.
They're all pretty cool, aren't they, the
Yeah.
high jumpers?
Did he have the blades on there? I couldn't actually see whether the sun's almost down.
Yeah. Don't think he could get away with that. Joe Berman, lane 2, Fletcher Van Hooven 3, James Hansen 4, Charles Royal in 5, Travis Baylor in 6, Masaki Temuka out of the long jump pit in 7, and Braden Grant away on the outside. Hamish again. And unfortunately hitting it on the way up. That must be 2:27.
.227.
Yes, that was 2:27, but he did hit it on the way up. We know that he's got that in him. Whether he can do that at the stage of the season's another thing as the sun goes down on Cook's Gardens. And we're going to get down to Tony Rogers with Jake Doran, the new meeting record holder for the 100 metres.
So with me down here is Jake Doran. And we've got our 100 metre winner, Jake Doran, here from Australia, all the way from Townsville. Jake, tell us how you found tonight's race, first of all.
Look, a bit far from home, but you know, I opened my season here this year, and it was really exciting to run the 100 metres again. So, you know, they put on a really good meet for me tonight, and the conditions were fantastic, and I'm sure the boys enjoyed getting around the track.
And so 10.15 is your best, around 10.40 for your opener for the season. What's your next opportunity?
Yeah, look, I've come into some form here and there in the past, and trying to reach back to that form. I actually ran pretty much my season's best last year in New Zealand, so 10.40 today, probably a bit more in the tank, but yeah, hoping for more later down the track.
And the next race will be down in Wellington, the capital, and then you're back home. What's your meets you got after that?
Yeah, so off to Wellington, I think, 5-6 days away next Saturday, and yeah, after that, look, hoping to go home and run the Australian circuit. So I think we've got Adelaide Track Classic first up, and then obviously the late great Maury Plant meet in Melbourne. So yeah, a couple really quality meets coming up in Australia, and then, you know, we're just all angling towards the national championships and then Oceania. So yeah, a really solid summer of athletics.
So one thing, you're coached by Paul DeBella up there in Townsville. He ran here about 20 odd years ago. Do you know if you ran faster than him tonight?
I definitely ran faster than Paul, but no. Paul came here for a junior tour, so coach was here, 20, 30 years ago. He tells me they ran a national junior relay record here at the time. So I think he liked Whanganui, I liked Whanganui, and yeah, a bit of heritage from Townsville, sprinting heritage anyway.
Well, it's good to have you here, and we look forward to seeing you down in Wellington next Friday night.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Cheers.
So that was Jake Doran, 10.40, and the wind reading was +2, which is just on the legal limit. So I was concerned, we were concerned, but it did seem to drop ideally for that. Masaki Temuka just took out the B final of the 400. We'll get his time shortly. Good battle with Charles Royal and Joe Berman. 50.27 and a personal best for Masaki, and he was pretty good at the long jump tonight as well. The all-important relay teams have just been handed to us, so we look forward to those in New Zealand secondary schools teams. .227 here for Hamish Kerr. He needs the support of the crowd here tonight.
Second attempt. Very near.
Certainly a lot closer, and he knows it.
Just hit it with the arch of his back, didn't he?
Give us some confidence to hit for the third.
Wow.
100 metres taking place here. Just trying to find the right field for this one. Hayden Robinson in lane 2. There was somebody in lane number 1. Samu Herman, Damien Hodgson, Aidan Platts, Ethan Phillips and Thomas Gowan. Away on the outside, Aidan Platts running strongly in lane number 5. Looks like he's coming through. Damien Hodgson is closing nicely across the top as well. Aidan Platts will turn first. Damien Hodgson coming through underneath him. Wider is Thomas Gowan, Ethan Phillips as well. Aidan kicking strongly.
Ethan Phillips coming home strong.
And will beat Thomas Gowan. And a very good go for third between Damien Hodgson and Samu Herman. And we had Joshua Taylor, the T20 athlete, on the inside.
The women's long jump, our current leader is Phoebe Edwards from Wellington with a jump of 5 meters 85.
Oh, these conditions are getting good, Mark. I'm excited about these miles.
Yes, so the sun's going down, the wind is dropping, and the temperature is still good enough, and that's ideal for tonight's miles, which commemorate the magnificent feat of this man 62 years ago with a world record 354.4.
And the New Zealand Championships are on the line tonight for men and women. With valuable ranking points for World Athletics up for grabs too.
Aidan Platts, the men's C winner, 52.17. Thomas Gowan, 52.38. Close go for third. Damien Hodgson hanging in there with a personal best, 53.59. And Samu Herman with 53.61, a personal best as well. So well done to them as Hamish gets the crowd behind him. Third attempt, 2.27. Close with his second. And Hamish goes over.
He's done it.
To the delight of the crowd here, the bar is wobbling, but it remains where it is. 2.27 after jumps earlier this year or this season of 2.23, 2.21. Third attempt, 2.27, attacked.
Oh, what a beautiful vista there where we see the church steeple in the background. Great to be in central Whanganui here, Cook's Gardens. One of Hamish's favourite jumping venues. Always supports this meet.
And the top goes on, it's getting cooler. Would he attempt 2.31, which I think would be up there with his best ever in New Zealand?
Oh, I saw him having a wee chat to James there about next moves, so perhaps maybe have a crack or leave it for capital and a potential bigger bonus next week, maybe.
Indeed. Grace Fannin in lane number 2 here. Madison Rattray, Emma Page, Very Page Scannell, who ran well last weekend. and Vanessa Hodge. As we get underway, now 400 metres continuing. Emma Page-Very making a pretty decent start in the middle. And Paige Scannell also showing out. She was in front early, but Emma Very has come through underneath her very quickly. Vanessa Hodge out there with them as well.
Vanessa's just run a 3,000 metre, a mile earlier on, so it's going to be pretty tough for her.
Outstanding how they back up in these programs. We've got Madison Rattray in front here. So I think Madison Rattray in front of Emma Page-Very over the concluding stages. So we better give Madison Rattray the kudos. She will win. Tight second and third, Emma Page-Very and Paige Scannell.
Backs it up well after that 800 metres last week, where she finished very strongly.
Incredibly so. So Madison Rattray, Hamilton City Hawks. Strong bend run. Emma Page-Very's just clung on for second. Paige Scannell again, busting through the line. 2:30.
Yep, you're on TV. Great to see some of the young athletes from Whanganui out there helping tonight at the Cooks Classic. It wouldn't happen without all of those volunteers. Getting ready for the men's B mile.
Just looking to the shot put, and Nick Palmer tonight not breaking the 19 metres, 18.93 is best, good enough to win. Blessing Sefo 17.09, Liam Hinchok-Wolf 16.82. Pretty good effort from Blessing with the senior shot there. I'll just check what his best has been with the senior in the past.
Blaine Knapman on the javelin runway for New Zealand secondary schools. That's his first javelin out, just over 50 metres. Mr. Kerr.
2 metres 30, the bar's gone to.
Oh, smooth run up. Just took off. But more into the bar that time, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, and hit with the arm. But of course, he clattered the first at 2:27, was close with the second, cleared the third. So hope for similar. Madison Rattray dipped under 60 seconds, I should say, for a personal best 59.47 over Emma Page-Very at 1 minute 17. In fact, PBs across the board with Paige Scannell, Vanessa Hodge and Grace Fannin, so congratulations to them all. So we get ready for the first of the miles, Jason. So the men's B mile is coming, and got a few things happening out on the field as well, with the women's long jump should be taking place soon, along with that men's javelin that we've referred to. Hamish still going in the high jump, and the under 20 mile, we can confirm Nick Palmer is the winner there. It's got a season's best, but he was better last week. Blessing Sefo, 17.09, Liam Hinchok-Wolf third at 16.82.
Another announcement to runners on the back straight. Could you please move to the side so this race can get underway.
And there's Nick off the back of his latest shot put success.
Shouldn't he have a running is overrated t-shirt on?
I proudly wear mine when I'm running, I might add.
Yeah, good field in this men's B mile. In one we have Tom Strawbridge, Benjamin Bidouar, Joseph Morgan, Nick Dobby, Daniel Prescott, Noel McDermott, Max Taylor, Toby Tasker, Max Wildboar, Jake Lomas, Jay Willers, Alex Kelleher, Pi Wynyard, Hayden Zervos and Callum Stewart.
And Jason, as we've become accustomed, Daniel Prescott taking up the front running duties. That's what he did in the under-20 mile at Hastings last week. And of course, in the New Zealand secondary schools, he opened up an enormous break and was able to hang on there.
That was one of the most memorable senior boy 1500 metre races I've ever seen. What a gutsy performance. And this young guy is actually probably better known as a cross-country runner. He's off to the World Champs in Serbia at the end of March. He's so gutsy. He's going to go after it by the looks of things tonight.
Indeed.
Ben Bidouar right on his shoulder.
And Toby Tasker lying in third spot at the moment. And then in fourth, we've got Noah McDermott. Perfect conditions for the mile last week. There was no wind and it was very warm. A few degrees warmer than this probably, Jason. But, gee, this is about as good as we could have hoped for, especially earlier in the day.
Yeah, and the wind's continuing to die as well. So we've got, what, another 20 minutes to the main race. So great conditions for the guys now.
Prescott, Bidouar, Tasker.
Daniel won the New Zealand Secondary Schools cross-country champs at Massey University in June last year. And that was probably a somewhat surprising victory. There were more fancied runners than Elliot Pugh and Daniel Sinclair, but he's a big race runner as Daniel. And they're heading for a time of, yeah, maybe around 4:15, 4:16 for the mile at the moment. Ben Bidouar, he's been around the scene a long time in his senior ranks now. Coached by Chris Strange out of the Hamilton Hawks Club. And he's looking really smooth at the moment. You can see that nice cadence. A heel lift. Daniel having a look at his watch there.
And Daniel last week, that front running performance, 4:10.01, a personal best, and it was good enough for fourth, taking nearly 5 seconds off his PB, but it was just that sort of race with the top dozen, just about, I think, with personal best. Ben Bidouar's PB listed as 4:13.36, which he ran 2 years ago in this race when he was second.
Yeah, he was an impressive junior and has gone to the senior ranks now. So Daniel is coached by Sam and Ange Petty out of Christchurch. I think the first time I ever saw him run was at the New Zealand Secondary Schools in Timaru in about 2:18, and he was just a very diminutive little fella then. He's sprung up now. He's really trying to stretch it out now. Put the acid on Ben Bidouar here.
Noel McDermott's lying third, but he's been dropped off this leading pair. 200 metres to go.
Ben is very quick, but Daniel's got a little bit of a bungee cord there. Is it going to about to break 2 or 3 metres? He's having a look around. He actually looks pretty fresh, Daniel. Putting it on now.
Head on the side as we've become accustomed. New Zealand Secondary Schools athlete out of the Selwyn Club, and look at that kick at the end of this mile, pulling right away on Ben Bidouar.
It's going to be a big PB for Daniel Prescott. Somewhere in the vicinity of 4:07. So knocking potentially around 3 seconds off his PB.
Bidouar second, McDermott third, and Jason, you can probably talk to coming off the back of a PB the week before, which had shaved nearly 5 seconds off it, and then lowering it again tonight. How difficult is that?
I think when you've got all of these racing opportunities in terms of being a middle distance or distance runner, this is the time of the year which you really look forward to, where you're out there racing against your compatriots around the country and chasing times. And yeah, I mean, great to win the B race, and he's such a young guy with a huge future ahead of him.
2 metres 30 was within reach there for Hamish Kerr tonight. He thanks the crowd for their support. He hasn't disappointed. He's come up with a 2:27 tonight and close to 2:30 again, like the 2:27. Each attempt got better, closer. He got 2:27. Unfortunately, 2:30 goes down, but only just. But the crowd enjoying the spectacle from the Commonwealth Games champion, World Indoor bronze, and looking forward to an enormous year with the World Indoors coming up in March, the Nationals, of course, later in March, and middle of the year, the Paris Olympics.
Definitely augurs well. Hamish clearing 2:27 at this point in the season, and he's got some big comps to come. So
grateful for the lights coming on here, Jason, because things are getting harder to read as the...
Showtime.
Yeah. So the big lights are on, the lighting towers have lit up, and the women's mile field about to light up the track, and this should be a beauty.
Yeah, I am eager in anticipation of this one. The rematch, Laura and Rebecca Green.
As we look to the
How
women's...
good is that going to be?
It will be outstanding. The women's long jump we'll try and keep an eye on for you, and the men's javelin, but obviously our mind on the mile for now. The women's long jump was an outstanding competition at the Pots, with the lead changing a few times and about a dozen centimetres between first and fourth or fifth.
Got some outstanding young talent in this senior women's New Zealand Championship mile race field as well, with the likes of young Bo Ritchie out of the Hamilton City Hawks Club. She ran a very impressive 800 metres last Saturday at the Pots, 2:06. It was a New Zealand under-17 record. Also got Sasha Ledeker and Charo Heinen, Tilly Hollier there from Whippet's Running Project.
Tilly was prominent at the Pacific Games, winning the 800 and 1500 there. She was good last week too at the Pots. Daniel Prescott 4:07.27 PB. Ben Bidwar PB as well, outstanding. So some terrific times, and again the mile littered with personal bests.
It's the place to be. Cooks, the spiritual home of New Zealand middle distance running, eh?
So here we go, Bo Ritchie fresh off that under-17 800 metre record. Laura Nagel, who shattered her own PB by 3 seconds over the 800 last week. And of course Rebecca Green has been married now, Rebecca Aitkenhead. And she was the winner last year. She finished third behind 2 Australians, but took the title, of course, in a 4:32 and change. And Charo Heinen, of course, the winner of the under-20 mile last week.
Rebecca and Laura had such a gritty race up in Auckland at the Night of Fives just before Christmas, where Rebecca was paced by Kimberly May there over from Providence University, and Laura chopped her down in the last 400 metres. Poppy Healy pacing this race.
So they're underway in the New Zealand 1 mile championship here at Cook's Gardens in Whanganui.
Rebecca is usually the aggressor in these races, but wow, surprise, surprise, we see Laura go straight into second place. She's been in a rich vein of form. PB over 800 metres last week at the Potts Classic, and also sub-9 over 3,000 metres a couple of weeks ago.
It's been remarkable what Laura's done in the last 12 months, winning the 1500, 3K and 5,000 championship, and then to show that sort of speed over the 800 last week. And of course she's, early 30s, Laura. She's just in a rich vein of form.
Yeah, and really wants to be in Paris this year. So she's got to get out there, race hard, get fast times, get points. Same with Rebecca. Great to see Bo in 4th place. She's going to go after it tonight as well. Will we see another New Zealand record in the under 17 mile? Tilly hot on her heels.
So Tilly Hollier back there in 5th. We check off the heels up front here.
68 first lap.
Poppy Healy, the pacemaker here. Laura Nagel just a little awkward on her heels at the moment, and Rebecca Green Aitkenhead now probably happy just to be sitting here off the back of Laura, although Laura clearly showed intent that she wanted to be in front of Rebecca really.
Yeah, she's definitely been assertive tonight. The meet record 4:31, so Rebecca set that last year. So not only the prize money and the kudos on the line here tonight, but the New Zealand Championship as Poppy steps off the track after 600 metres.
Pacemaker's job is done, and Laura Nagel now leads with Rebecca Green as we know her, but now Rebecca Aitkenhead on her heels, and they've opened up a gap of about 30 metres over Bo Ritchie and Tilly Hollier. With them as well as Peyton Lee in that second bunch of 3.
And through the 800 metres in 2:18. So the pace has just dropped off a bit, Mark.
It has, and Laura doing that, and Rebecca on her back. Do we call her Green? Do we call her Aitkenhead over the concluding stages, Jason?
She probably just wants to be called Becky.
Okay. So Laura in front of Becky, the two that we expected to be fighting this out.
And Becky making a move on the inside here. But I wouldn't be expecting Laura to give much away here. She'll be right back on the heels of Becky.
Was that an invitation, Jason, that Laura just pulling up the track a bit and saying, hey, time for you to do some work?
I think it was, and these two have just had such close races over the last couple of years.
Tilly Hollier's into a clear 3rd, then Peyton Lee and Bo Ritchie back in 5th spot.
I have to say, Laura's looking pretty composed in 2nd place as well. It's going to be all on in this last lap.
Should be a great last lap coming up here. Becky Green, Laura Nagel, they get the bell. Went through in around 3:28.
Still on for a meet record.
Hollier 3rd. Lee going through now 4th in front of Ritchie. 300 metres to go. Becky and Laura are both looking
cranking it.
Both looking as good as each other.
Nagel coming up to the shoulder of Green, but Green's resisting. Pace is on. 4 minutes through, 200 metres to go.
Meet record a possibility here.
Green just holding Nagel at the moment. 120 to go. Nagel's coming out on the outside.
And she's got to be confident going at that point of the turn, you would think, but Rebecca Green kicking back the inside of Laura Nagel, the outside.
No, that's all. Both battling each other up the straight here.
Urged on by the big crowd here at Cooks Gardens. Nagel and Green. Green's come back the inside. Nagel trying.
Green's got it, I think.
Rebecca Green. Rebecca Aitkenhead, whatever we call her, it looks like she's shaded Laura Nagel the inside. And a phenomenal run.
About 4:34, Mark.
What a contest. Tilly Hollier 3rd.
Bo Ritchie in about 4:53.
Peyton Lee 4th, Bo Ritchie in 5th spot. But what a battle between these pair. Deserved every bit of applause. So Poppy Healy leading for the first 600 metres. Pacemaker Laura Nagel took over, then invited Rebecca Green to come through.
Look at Becky, she just didn't give it away. They've had so many close races, these girls, in the last couple of years. But Laura wasn't giving it away either, all the way to the line. Impressive.
Laura had shaded her sort of halfway down the straight, but the effort was telling, and as you say, Rebecca on the inside just refusing to lie down.
And just inches between that those precious medals that'll be given out shortly.
Yeah. So that is the Women's Mile Championship for 2024. Medals on the line as well as bragging rights, and the two we expected to pull clear did, but some good runs in behind too, Jason. Others be pretty happy with their times, and we'll get those up shortly.
Yeah, interested to see what that New Zealand under-17 record is. Bo was about 4:53 there. Another impressive performance from her, 4th in a senior championship. And Tilly Hollier from Whippet's Running Project. She's been so consistent over the last 2 domestic seasons, represented New Zealand for the first time at the Oceania Championships. And she'll get a bronze medal in the senior women's mile.
Just catching up on some other results as we go. The women's shot put earlier, Natalia Rankin-Chittar coming through as expected there in a 15:12, her best. That's the men's mile field coming out. Start time 9:05. Jason, I know we talked about it earlier. People will have come along midway through this broadcast of the Pack and Save Cooks Classic for 2024, but I think all of the 4-minute miles, and I think there's been about 75 of them, have all been run, I believe, after 9 p.m. at night.
Yeah, and a good proportion of them would have been here at Cooks as the mile mecca in New Zealand. It's just excellent conditions, and I am licking my lips at this one. Mark, chance to see Sam Tanner fresh off his 3:49 mile at the Prefontaine Classic last year in Eugene. Joins that elusive sub 350 club, and he's going to be a clear favourite for this race.
Set up a spectacular 800 for James Preston last week, a sub 46 on New Zealand soil, which is a very rare thing. And 600 metres, watching him, Jason, you think, gee, he's got some real zip. Does that set him up nicely for a race like this a week later?
Yeah, look, yeah, he was really impressive. 1:17 through the 600 and really helped James last weekend.
About to head down to Tony Rogers prior to the start of this mile, and Tony is with Rebecca Green. Rebecca Aitkenhead, we believe her married name now, has just taken out a thrilling women's mile. So let's get down to Tony Rogers.
I was just going to say, Mark, that, you know, Sam, from what his coach Craig Kirkwood told me, has not actually hit the track since last weekend. Okay. So he's done a couple of months of mileage, churning out 150k weeks. So to get on the track and pull out a 1:17 in a 600 like that, he's in awesome shape.
He certainly is. Look, our apologies to Tony and Rebecca there, but this race was scheduled for 9:05, but it kind of looks like they're about to run this. So we thought we might have had time, and maybe we still do, but they were crowding the starting line like they were about to go. So
I believe Daniel Sinclair is going to be setting the pace at about 1:58. New Zealand under-20 1500 metre champion. We've got Julian Oakley in there from Athletics Tauranga. He's won this race many times before. Matt Taylor, another sub 4-minute miler. North Harbour Bays.
Here we have that result through, 4:33.55, the time credited to Rebecca, and personal best there for Laura Nagel, not quite enough. Charo Heinen, 5:11 this week after winning the under-20 mile 5:01. Now, we should have time now to get to Tony Rogers with Rebecca Green.
Ladies and gentlemen, down here in front of the podium area, we've got Rebecca Green, who took out a very exciting women's mile for the New Zealand Championship tonight. Rebecca, when did you think you might have did you know you got over the line first?
No, I had no idea actually. I was just hoping that I dipped a bit better, so yeah.
So you had a good pacemaker there for the first couple of laps, and then you did a fair bit of work, and Laura had a pretty sharp 800 under her belt last week. What was your thought processes over that final 150 metres, say?
Yeah, just trying to get to the line. I know Laura's got a really good kick, and I'm usually on the receiving end of it, so it was really nice to actually be able to hold it and like have the confidence to take it right to the line. Yeah.
So that race sets you up for some really good meets, and I hear you're going to go across to Australia. What's your main target? What's your target event this year?
Target events always building up to nationals, but before that I'll do the bronze invitational in Adelaide and then the Murray Plant meet in Melbourne.
And what distances are you focusing on for those?
I want to primarily focus on the 15, but there's a few 5k opportunities, so I'll get out and do some of those.
Well, congratulations, Rebecca Green, the Whanganui's Cooks Classic mile winner tonight.
Thank you, thanks.
Outstanding performance and an outstanding race. Now, the men's open mile. Here we are, Samuel Tanner, the man to watch, along with Australian Callum Davies. They ran the Quinella in that order last year, and of course Julian Oakley, Sam's training partner, was a winner of this in 2022. So Sam, 21 and 23 winner. Between them was Julian Oakley. They battled tonight, and you mentioned William Little earlier on, being the New Zealand sole senior men cross-country competitor in Belgrade soon, and he'll be lining up in this mile. New Zealand Championship mile is underway here at Cook's Gardens. 4 laps of this famous track. 62 years ago to the night since the late Sir Peter Snell ran 3:54.4 on grass for a new world record. It still remains the 4th fastest time ever recorded here. Nick Willis has the outright record. Sam Tanner, 2-time winner of this race in the last 3 years, has the 5th fastest time, and others that are on the list of winners here in this mile, Jason, names as big as Kip Kaino and Mo Farah.
Yeah, and Mo went on to do some pretty amazing things in the Olympics. So he ran just under 4 minutes, I think, in 2:06 when Nick broke the record. So we got Daniel Sinclair setting the pace here, coming up to first lap there, about 57 through the first 400 metres.
Sam on his back, and then Callum Davies with the headband.
Is that a mullet flowing in the breeze there, or is that a headscarf?
I think it is the headscarf. We'll forgive him.
Julian just losing a little bit of contact with Callum Davies there. He's going to need to get back on. It's all about connectivity with these middle distance races. William Little looking very strong there in 5th place. Fresh off his sub 13.50 at Night of Fives in December, but at the front we've got William Sinclair, Daniel Sinclair should I say. He's looking up, making sure he's doing the pacing job well, and he is at the moment.
Tanner Davies, Little in the white.
About 156
is 4th.
So we are well on track for sub 4, but that means nothing to Sam Tanner when you're a 3:49 miler. And Callum Davies, he'll be here because he knows he's going to get some great competition from New Zealand's top miler, and those two are out front now.
Pacemaker's job done. Sam Tanner takes it over. Callum Davies on his back. They were 1-2 in that order last year. William Little, Jack Payne giving chase.
I'm really intrigued to know what William Little might be able to do tonight. He is training for the World Cross Country. Could he get under 4 minutes tonight? That'll be an awesome milestone for him. Jack Payne in 4th, more noted as an 800-metre runner. David Lee coming back from injury. Julian just drifting off the pace a bit now. Not looking his normal self, but Sam very composed at the front.
He's going to go through.
Here's the bell.
Just 2:59, 3 minutes. Tanner and Davies, New Zealand versus Australia up front. Then William Little, Payne, Lee.
And we see the trademark cannonball finish from Tanner as he opens it up. You see the arms pumping.
Kicking away from Davies.
The eyes are, doesn't have the war face, a little smile there at the 200-metre mark from Sam Tanner.
Knows where the camera is to Sam. He's looking great down the side. He's pulled out 10 metres on Callum Davies.
Davies not giving it away though, 5 metres back.
Crowd willing, Tanner.
Here he is.
To a sub-4 minute mile.
Digging in, Davies coming back at second.
Quick look round from Sam, but he's through.
It's a great time, 3:55. David Lee, will he get under? Oh, David Lee just minutes a sub-4 minute mile, about 4:01 for David Lee from the Whippet Running Project.
And given a congratulatory hug by William Little off the back of coming in 4th spot. Incredible. Sam Tanner again, New Zealand mile champion as he was last year, as he was in 2021. Callum Davies from Australia runs second again for the 2nd year running. And the Whippets runners were fighting out the minor medals. Of course, Davies won't be picking up a medal here.
Oh, look at that, impeccable form. The speed from Sam Tanner. Had a wee look there just to check on the progress of Callum Davies. Yeah, another day at the office.
He's 23 years old, Jason. What does the future hold for this man? You've seen a lot of milers. We've had, throughout the years, obviously, the greats. We go right back to Lovelock, Snell, of course, who we celebrate tonight, Walker, Nick Willis, and now Sam Tanner so quickly off the back of Nick.
He's just so young, you know, at 23. I remember seeing him as a year 9 at the New Zealand Secondary Schools Champs in 2:15 at Palmerston North. And his coach, Craig Kirkwood, said to me about a year ago that he was warming down after pacing one of the Diamond Leagues at Monaco. And I think he was running with the great Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and Ingebrigtsen was asking him what sort of mileage he did. And it was about 60 or 70k a week, and he just couldn't believe it, that he was running 3:31, 3:32 off that mileage. And I know that he's ramped it up in the last 8 weeks of training, because he's getting ready for Paris, 150k training weeks. This man has the potential for greatness.
Also the winner of the road mile last year, as well as the track mile. And
great to see Alec McNabb, one of the meet organisers there. Used to coach Geordie Beamish, who ran 13:04 for 5,000 metres in the United States today.
I'm glad you brought that up, because of course he's wowed us, his Beamish, over the 3,000 metre steeplechase. But he is just doing some great things. And of course, on the other side of the world, and with our eyes not focused on it, mainstream haven't quite caught up on some of the incredible things that are happening.
We shouldn't forget Theo Quacks as well, 13:16 in the same race, and that's a major breakthrough performance from him as well.
We're going to head down to the start-finish line, and Tony Rogers is down there with Hamish Kerr, who tonight has won the high jump with a best clearance of 2 metres and 27. Here's Tony.
So ladies and gentlemen, down here in front of the podium, we've got one of the stars of tonight's competition at the Cook's Gardens, Hamish Kerr, taking out the high jump, 2:27. You jumped the other night, Hamish, in Hawera. How's it going with 2 comps together like that?
Yeah, the legs are probably a little bit sorer than they would after 2:27, but that's what happens when you do a comp midweek as well. But it's great prep early in the season for some of the bigger jumps we've got to come.
And tonight you had a few youngsters who were obviously being a bit inspired behind you. Young man from Wellington, Hugo Jones, gets a big 2:07 PB.
Yeah, it's awesome jumping with the locals. I love coming to Whanganui and jumping in New Zealand as well. Just with all the fresh talent we've got coming through, there's some exciting jumpers coming, that's for sure. So it's awesome to see Hugo jumping 2:07 tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure you're inspiring these young guys. And from here in, you've competed really well at Cooks over a number of years now. Tell everyone where you're heading to and what's the big plan in the next few weeks.
I'll go home to Christchurch tomorrow and just get a few weeks training under my belt, and then Melbourne Gold Meet and World Indoors. So nice few meets to finish the season.
Well, we wish you all the best for Glasgow at the World Indoors and, of course, the big one in the middle of the year in Paris 2024. So well done, Hamish.
Thanks, and thanks for supporting everyone. It's awesome to come to Whanganui again and have you guys support.
Hamish Kerr, 2:27 tonight, off the back of 2:23 at the Lovelock Classic, 2:21 at the Jumps to Music. 3:55.11 for Sam Tanner, and then some really good PBs in there. You'll be wrapped about, Jason Cameron.
Oh yeah, David Lee, 4:02. I think he's been injured the last 6 months. So great comeback race from him. William Little, more noted as a distance runner, 5,000, 10,000 metres, 4:03. Pretty impressive running, and some of those juniors there, Angus Sevier, 4:06.70. Callum Murray, bronze medal in the junior mile last weekend. That'll be a PB, 4:6.55.
PB for Max Karamanolis, who's coached by Tony Rogers, so Tony will be delighted down there with Max's performance tonight. As we get set for the relays. Not sure whether we've got sufficient light to read these teams or not, but we'll give it a go. Of course, there is action still in the field. The javelin at the moment, Felice Sassaya from France, who was the winner here last year and through 82 metres in Melbourne, has pulled out a 74.73 tonight, which is excellent. The New Zealand champion Dobotes 53.51. Masaki Tamuka's had a good night, 51.75, currently in third. The relay here, we have a New Zealand Secondary Schools Girls A and B and New Zealand Secondary Schools Boys. So we'll run through them. Lane 4. Sophie Hancock to lead off, Kendra Skelly-Tui, Zara Rattray and Emily Faircliffe. In lane 5, the second of the girls' teams, Juliet McKinley, Neve Getty, Sasha Kilmister and Daisy Goodman. And then the boys in lane, got them in 3 actually, yes, so the boys are in 3. Girls' teams in 4 and 5. Joseph Dunn leading off, Samasoni Hewitt, Luke Jarvis and Zach Ziogas to bring them home. The secondary schools girls team saw last week, Jason, and they're going pretty well, and good baton changes, which is the key, of course. So we're underway, and the boys there in lane number 3. The lead-off runner there is Joseph Dunn. He's going to hand over to Samasoni Hewitt, fresh off the high jump mat. And the second runner for lane 4 girls is Kendra Skelly-Tui, who's been in good form tonight. And Neve Getty in lane 5 for the girls' second team. Third runner here is Luke Jarvis. He'll hand off to Zach Ziogas to bring them home. And then in lane number 4, it's Emily Faircliffe coming home and Daisy Goodman in lane number 5. And again, impressive baton changes tonight. The key to a good relay as we see the javelin going a very long way there. Our French competitor into the night sky. Made a heck of a backdrop to the finish of the relay. In the meantime, Tony Rogers has caught up with Sam Tanner, and I think Sam's confirmed for the 3,000 on Friday at the Capital Classic. We might hear more about that. Let's get to Tony Rogers with Sam Tanner.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the winner here of tonight's Classic Mile, of course, the home of the mile here in New Zealand. 62 years ago on this day, Peter Snell set the world record. Sam, what is it like to run a 3:55 tonight?
Yeah, pretty good. I I love running in Whanganui, and it comes with all the history too, so it's pretty special to be able to stand in a place where I broke 4 for the first time, and world records have been set here too, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so a little over 5 years ago, you did your first sub-4 minute mile. You've done another 5 since then. How is it having a young Australian chase you home? Because obviously there's always a bit of rivalry there.
Yeah, it's good. Me and Callum have been racing each other since World Juniors in like 2018, so he essentially beat me by making it to the final. I didn't make it through, but yeah, we've had a pretty good rivalry, so it's fun to keep that going.
Well, it's really great to have you racing domestically, Sam, and you've got a big year in front of you. Obviously, we look forward to you running another New Zealand Championship in the 3,000 metres in Wellington next Friday night. But after that, what's your plan?
One race in Aussie, a couple races, then nationals, and then a couple races overseas before the Olympics in beginning of August.
Well, it's great to have you back here in Whanganui once again, Sam, and congratulations on another fine mile.
Thanks, Tony.
Sam Tanner, our New Zealand mile champion once again, as he was last year, as he was in 2021 here in Cook's Gardens. He's making this place his own. 2024 mile champion, and of course prior to that, Rebecca Green over Lauren Nagel in the finish of the night, although Portia Bing and Shale Collette were pretty good in the 200 metres as well, with the classic finish there. And there is that statue of Peter Snell.
Yeah, and Whanganui were awarded a World Athletics Heritage Award as a place that's had a world record in it and set on this track. That was presented last year to Alec and Russell and the people of Whanganui. What an accolade. It hasn't disappointed tonight. It is just the mecca of New Zealand miling, and pretty good in some other events as well.
Yeah, no, certainly. And looking down the list of meeting records that I was looking through earlier, and just some phenomenal names there. And of course, one of them deleted tonight, with Australian Jake Doran running 10:40 with a just legal +2 wind and eliminating Gus Nketiah, one of our finest, of course, and father of our finest, if you like, in Eddie. 10:49 was Gus back in 2000. Confirming some of these field event results, obviously we've been concentrating on the miles over the last half an hour. Lewis Arthur 7:48 matched his personal best from the pots last week. Masaki Tamuka 7:04, personal best in the long jump, good in the 400 and good in the javelin. So Masaki having a good time out here. And hopefully we'll have the women's long jump for you as well. I know Phoebe Edwards jumped 5:82 there, and Charlotte Goldsmith 5:52, Hannah Collins 5:09. They were the leading measures that I had, but whether that's a final result I can't just work out yet off my live results, so hopefully we can get that through. And then the javelin is the one remaining event that's continuing here too at the Cooks. And I can't give you an update on that as such, but we did see a mid-70s throw from last year's winner, Felicie Sosaya, who represents France and has been a national champion, 74 and 73, but I have no further update on that at the moment. Jason Cameron, though, as the sun's definitely come down, the lights will go out at some point here on the Cooks Classic of 2024. We're having a medal ceremony down in front of us, which we might be able to pick up. But Jason, another outstanding event this domestic season, promising so much and delivering on it.
Yeah, second stop on the World Challenger Series in New Zealand after Potts last weekend. Huge amount of work goes into putting these events together. So huge thanks to the team from Whanganui, led by Russell Sears and Alec McNabb, as we see Tilly Hollier receiving her bronze medal in the New Zealand Women's Mile Championship.
800 and 1500 metre champion at the recent Pacific Games, Laura Nagel. What a contest between Laura and Rebecca tonight.
Yeah, No inch, no quarter given. It was all the way to the line. You've got to run through the line. And Becky just got there in the end. But yeah, there's going to be some great racing coming right through to the Nationals in Wellington. Can't wait.
And we'll have the medals handed out to the men very shortly as well. Callum Davies, the Australian second, of course, not eligible for the medal. So it'll be Whippets runners either side of Sam here.
Indeed, yeah. William Little and David Lee.
And in terms of William being the sole senior men's representative at the World Cross Country team that you're taking away, this is the sort of form you want to see him in over the mile, and what he's doing at the moment? Is this all specifically around the World Cross Country, or is that just something that happens in a couple of months and he'll win what he can now?
So knowing his coach, Sam McLean from Christchurch, who's a very experienced campaigner, I'd imagine Williams still probably doing a pretty decent volume of mileage at the moment, but using this probably as a bit of speed work. I mean, he's been running PBs for the last 6 months, ran well under 30 minutes at the Timaru 10, and a PB at the Night of Fives in December. So yeah, another PB. Not a surprise, I have to say. David Lee, but more so, because he's been injured for 6 months, and to run a 4:02, fantastic. There he is, William Little, bronze medalist, New Zealand mile.
Congratulations to him.
In second place in the New Zealand Championships was David Lee.
And David accepting his silver medal with an outstanding run and promise of more to come. And of course, Callum Davies getting a visitor's medal and getting on the podium, and terrific to have the international competitors here, and obviously pushing Sam as far as he can, as hard as he can. 3:55.11 for Sam Tanner, another sub-4-minute mile. He's the second fastest of all time in New Zealand, behind John Walker, Sir John Walker.
3.66 for our bronze medal New Zealand champion place.
Happy quartet after the men's mile here at the Cooks Classic, sponsored by Pack and Save and a number of other sponsors of each individual event throughout the night, without whom we couldn't successfully run this meeting. Thanks again to those who have officiated in the track and the field. And of course, although we've been on air since 6:30, there's been events here since 4 o'clock this afternoon, Jason. So short enough for us on air, but a longer day, and it's part of the World Athletics Continental Tour, which will continue this coming Friday, the Capital Classic.
For those that have been to the Cooks Gardens this time every year for a number of years, you'll know that new sub-4-minute milers receive a cap which commemorates the occasion. Tonight we already had Sam Tanner has been presented a cap in the past, as I think Callum Davies, but we do have a recipient from 2001 who will receive his cap tonight.
One last presentation here. A presentation for a sub-4-minute mile, Jason, but dating back some years.
Yeah, one of my athletics contemporaries, Simon Maunder.
Confirming Phoebe Edwards, 5:89 was her best jump in the end. Charlotte Goldsmith, another good performance from the New Zealand Secondary Schools champion, 5:71, and Hannah Collins checking out third at 5:22. And that javelin competition has drawn to a conclusion as well. Not sure if we'll be able to bring you a result of that, but can tell you as we look over the page there in the long jump that Felicie Sasaya, I should say, would be comfortably first there, and 74.73 was the best throw that we saw as the milers wind down, and that gives us an opportunity to wind down on the night as well. And Jason, I guess when we look back on the night, obviously we had the key events at the end, and those races didn't disappoint. And out in the field, eyes on Hamish Kerr, and again he came through too with the 2:27 as well.
Yeah, can't wait for Capital Classic next weekend, and we've got a national permit meet in Wellington the following day as well, the solar power throwing meet, which will have some of New Zealand's best throwers there, and then we're getting into the business end of the season. Looking forward to working with you on the New Zealand Track and Field Champs back in Wellington at Newtown Stadium, 14th to the 17th of March, with the under-16s, under-18s, under-20s and seniors. It's going to be a amazing event.
Well, I watched that from my sickbed last year, Jason, and it was one heck of an event from Zoe Hobbs down. It was just incredible, and we're looking forward to more of the same. Capital Classic this coming Friday will be live on Sky, so that's enormous for New Zealand athletics. So, Jason?
Yeah, not to mention as well, I better put in a plug for our Continental Tour meets as well. So we've got the ITM down in Christchurch on Saturday the 24th of February. So that's the bronze level World Tour meet. And in Auckland at the Truss Arena for the Sir Graham Douglas International on Sunday the 10th of March.
Fabulous. So we will catch you next in 6 days' time. Live coverage on Sky Television of the Capital Classic, the 20th edition out of Newtown Park in Wellington. On behalf of the team, guys and gals have been working hard, bringing you the pictures, bringing you the sounds. We bid you farewell for now from the 2024 Pack and Save Cooks Classic. Mā te wā, catch you soon.